Welcome, everyone, to the Simplifying Infor Payroll with the Intellias Payroll Automation webinar. Chad Mitchell, I'm the founder, president of Intellias, and one of the SMEs for this particular product. It's kind of my baby. I helped develop it 20 plus years ago with a group, and it has been implemented in a lot of S3 clients. And now we are implementing it into CloudSuite as well. So I'm going to give just a brief introduction of our company, and then we'll go into a live demonstration and then answer some questions. So for those of you that don't know about Intellias, we are an Infor Alliance partner. We've been around since '99. We're both Infor and AWS certified. At our company, we specialize in two different things. We do consulting services across the board for anything Infor, upgrades, application support, technical support, new development of whatever technology you need inside your Infor tenant. And then what we also do is software offerings as well. So Intellias started as a software company back in '99 with a number of our products, and we then expanded into services in the last 8 years. In the software offerings, we have what we call the payroll automation product. We have an expense management, and we also have a time management product as well. So what is payroll automation? So it is a bolt-on software product for both on-premise clients in the S3 space of Lawson Infor, and then it also is a CloudSuite product as well, running in the cloud to support the Infor GHR payroll. What it does is it basically simplifies the job processing for all the different jobs you would run on an S3 platform or in the cloud, all the different actions that you might run to complete a payroll. It runs all the jobs sequentially. And it will check after each of the jobs or actions are completed to make sure that everything looks good, and then it goes to the next step. And what clients see is that it delivers all your jobs timely and accurately. You don't have to worry about people miskeying different information into the different jobs or actions, which might create all sorts of errors or problems for you. It's going to add, submit, run the jobs, and they're going to create unique jobs in the system so that we can track to see what happened with those jobs and have a history of those. It allows for the tracking of the payroll progress by others. So not only the payroll person that's running it will be able to see from a screen as it's going along, you could have other departments, other people looking at the payroll and seeing those jobs complete, and then also being able to click on the different reports for verification. Also with the product, it allows you to build unlimited automation. So once we deliver, we have a product that actually is the designer product that allows you to then copy that automation, make derivatives of it, or whatever automation you want to create. So why do clients buy the payroll automation? One, it's simple and easy to use. So we have stories in the last 20 years of where the payroll person goes on leave. You only have one payroll person, and the CFO ends up running the payroll. Very easy, one form, you key in some information on the payroll, hit submit, it's going to run your whole payroll for you. So that is really one of the biggest benefits of the payroll automation, is it creates that redundancy in your organization to be able to run payrolls even when you don't have your payroll person available. It's going to reduce costs in your organization. It's going to complete the payroll a lot quicker, which is going to increase your productivity. What we call greater data accuracy. So we don't have those people keying in possibly wrong information into the actual jobs, which will create errors. And our product allows us to do very quick deployment to our clients. On the screen here is some of our clients that are utilizing the payroll automation product. And what I'm going to do now is just kind of go through why the product is important And for instance, you have here, this is a typical Infor payroll or Lawson payroll that you would run, going all to all these different jobs. You might have 20 or more jobs that you have to run or actions and that you would run in a vanilla world. And you go enter information into each one of these jobs. You hit submit, you wait for it to complete, you go check the print screens, you check the print files, you go to the next job, you check your checklist so you make sure that you key in the right information to the next job. What we have is a simple form that the user would key in the information for the actual payroll. They hit continue, and the application will then go through each of the different actions. If you're in the GHR world, go through each of the different actions to complete those actions and then go to the next step. They might even do things after those actions are completed, like analyzing the different reports, making sure they look right before they continue on. We also have the ability to put breakpoints in the application to stop the application before going on to allow the user to validate those points of no return. So what you see on your screen right here is the payroll automation for GHR in the cloud. And then the next screen we have here is the payroll automation for the Lawson S3 payroll. It looks similar, where you're keying in information for the different, the different jobs. But again, we're in the S3 payroll, we have jobs. In the GHR, we have actions. Just a little slight difference in the way that the payrolls are run. In addition to the product, we have what we call the Payroll Automation Designer. And what this product does is it gives clients their autonomy to make changes to their automations and moving forward. Now, you'll hear me go back and forth with job automation and payroll automation. We have it's the same product. We renamed the payroll automation a long time ago to job automation because a lot of clients wanted to run like their AP check runs or their ACBR invoice processing from the product. So we renamed it job automation to encapsulate a larger audience that would be utilizing the product. However, the majority of clients that use this product is for payroll because of the tasks that payroll is, of the large number of different jobs or actions that you have to complete. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a demonstration. I'm going to do a GHR demonstration, and then we'll also do an S3 demonstration of a payroll. So let me pull over this screen. So we're looking at the GHR site and the payroll, and what we have is we've got some time records in the system for batch 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually run a payroll for batch 4. So I would open up my URL, and this is the actual job automation, payroll automation for our tenant. User key in the organization, what payment schedule we're going to run. We'll key in a check date. And then we'll key in any additional information that is needed to actually run this particular payroll. So the period end date. All right. Double check, make sure everything looks good. So we're at a sorry, double checking my dates here. Okay, 3/13, period ending. All right. Looks good. And then the user would select the different task, which would be that action. I'm going to assign taxes. hit continue. And the process is going to add that action, and then it's going to query the action to see when it's completed before running to the next action. So I'm going to run a number of actions prior to releasing that batch. And you can see here is a very simple payroll that we're running. What we're going to do here, I'm going to jump over to the tenant. And what we can do is look under async, just kind of the jobs that are the actions that are running. You can see we're running those two actions, the assigned taxes right now. And that'll take a few minutes to complete before it goes to the next stage of imputing income, time record batch, etc. So while that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this tab. And what I want to do is I want to look at the designer, just give a brief tour of the actual designer. So you can see here, this is the designer product. It works very similar to a process flow designer where you would, create all the different process flows to run. We call ours the job automation designer to create those different automations to run. So here I have the one that will run in this demo. We basically create what fields will show up on the screen, any type of interaction to those fields, any validation. We might store values that will be used in those actions on the screen, on the actual automation as well. So we define the different, what we call user fields. And then what I can do is set up the different actions that will run. So you can see here, I'm going to accrue a payroll, what business classes we're going to run, what actions we're going to run it against. And then we're going to fill that Infor form or that action with these particular fields. These fields might be a variable that we're using, maybe the HR organization you run, the payment schedule, a string value, check dates, deduction cycles, so forth. We can manipulate the value prior to populating the actual action. So here we're basically taking the check date, and we're going to format that into a certain year, month, date field before we populate it. So again, these are the different actions that will run for that particular payroll. And then what we have is on the run setup, the order that those actions are going to run in. We also can put conditions against those as well. So like if we want to accrue the payroll, we need to know that run accrual is equal to yes. You put those on the form. And then we have all sorts of other conditions or also runtime criteria on the screen. We also have, for instance, when we want the application to stop to allow the user to verify moving forward. So we have what we call user verify. You can stop the application and you can verify it before moving forward. Here you can see on this particular action, we got the printing of the checks. But before we print the checks, we're going to go get the bank file to go get the next check number. And then that'll populate the next check number, receipt number. So you no longer have to do that. All right. Let's see how our payroll is doing. So you can see right here, we've assigned the taxes that's completed, imputed income, releasing the batch. And you can see how easy a payroll could be inside the GHR system now as well. In GHR, what you'll see is that you're not running as many jobs that you would in a typical S3 implementation. However, the benefits that you'll see in our application, the job automation or payroll automation application in GHR, is it'll create these reports for you automatically. So in GHR, if you don't go create the report after the action, that report's gone. So this is a really nice feature of being able to run the action and then create the reports that go to your print queue or a distribution. and then going to the next action. So you could see there, the application was stopped, so I could go click on, I'll go click this current time record file. Oh, you know what? My time records might be off. So we might actually run into an error. I think I actually keyed in time records with the wrong period end date. So we'll see here when we calculate payments, it might actually go into error. And if it does, I'll just key some new time records and we can continue on. But again, it's kind of the nice part of this is that if it errors out, it's easy to start up and run again. All right. So I'm going to let that continue to run. And while that runs, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into an S3 payroll, and we're going to kick that off at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. We'll open that up again here in a minute. But I'm going to pull over this screen that you see. Apologize if it's small. It's running on an RDP server, so I can't increase that size anymore. However, what I can do, maybe I can just share that application. So, all right. So I've entered some time records into my S3 on-premise solution. So you can see here. And then what we're going to do is now run a payroll. So I'll go ahead and hit run payroll. And I'm going to select the payroll that I want to run. Again, it looks very similar to the GHR, where you're keying in just information that is only pertinent to this particular payroll, only information that a payroll person would know. Anything else, we're going to go grab from the system that we need to fill out on all the other forms. We can determine that by logic of what the user keyed in. So. I'm going to select the starting point. So you can see I got a significant number of jobs that we're going to run here. We got a breakpoint for data validation. Hit continue. And it's going to do very similar to what the other application was doing of going through adding, submitting, and running all those different jobs for completion. All right. So while this is going, I'm going to go ahead and jump to that other payroll. All right. So we calculated payroll, we calculate overtime. Go ahead and click this report. Overtime records here. Yep, we got some overtime records. Continue the automation. So now what we're doing is locking the payroll. And if you look at the Infor Talent side, go back to the payroll role and jumping to cycle processing. You can see here we're processing this payment schedule. You can see it's locked now. Calculated overtime and calculating payments here in a minute. So now it's calculating payments. Calculating payments is completed. And our application will check the system every minute or so. And now what's happening is it finished the actual action, but now it's creating the print file. So it kicks off that print file to create it. And once that's completed, it's going to jump to printing of the check. So let's see if we are able to get any payments here. Yeah. So there's my print file that was generated. Again, looks very similar to a PR140. A little prettier, I would say. But again, what's nice that you'll see the benefit of this product is it's creating those print files for you instead of the user having to go to the list view and go click print and then go wait. So again, just eliminating all those little steps that you might have to do in a payroll is where you're going to get that benefit. I'm going to go ahead and now print the payments. So we're going to hit continue, print payments. So what this is doing is it goes, checks the bank file, goes, grabs the next receipt, next check number, fills it out for the user. The users no longer have to do that. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go double check my S3 payroll. And so you can see on the S3 payroll, we ran all the way, finished the PR140. I'm going to go ahead and click on one of those reports. So the reports are all presented for the user. Everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and finish off the payroll. This one, and back to the GHR, we're printing the payments. It just finished running that print file. Print files, you can see the check file that was generated. Here's the checks. And then we're going to go ahead and close out this payroll and post it to GL from a GHR side. And at the same time, we're going to go jump to my S3 payroll, see how that's working. And you can see that one is also closing out on the GL side as well. Now, a couple things. Our product doesn't increase the time that a PR140 will run or PR160. It will reduce all the time between all jobs. So it really reduces that time that users might spend in just, looking at the different reports and, maybe they went on break and they come back, but again, what we've seen a lot of clients is that they'll reduce their payroll about the payroll time up to 50%. So if you're running a payroll that's taking you 3 days, it might only take you 1.5 days, what we've seen from our clients. All right, so jumping to GHR, I'm going to click here, close that payroll, and we are almost done with the S3 payroll. So the S3 payroll is now completed. And we're almost done with the GHR payroll. So again, the product was developed just to really simplify the arduous task of payroll and what our clients have seen. We have clients that have been running the actual applications. Like I think we have one client's been running the application for over 16 years. They love it. And again, it really, when you have turnover in your organization, it makes it so easy for a new payroll person to come in to run payroll without having to understand all the different jobs, all the different actions in all those fields. And they can just concentrate on the actual data instead of having to train them on how to actually run an Infor system. So again, making it a lot easier on organizations moving forward, creating that redundancy in the organization so that they always know that payroll is going to get out the door. And a really and the product really with Infor really makes it a lot easier to run payroll in comparison to other ERPs as well. So with that, we'll jump to any questions that you might have. Again, short presentation, understanding that your time is important. However, if you have any questions now, you can ask them or you can send me an email.
We do have a couple of questions I received. What is the typical implementation timeframe?
Great question. So a typical time frame for an S3 implementation, and maybe even GHR, we're looking at about 4 weeks. So, and 4 weeks is really just getting the checklist, adding the different, the different actions, the jobs, the system, and then testing it out. And that 4-week period might actually be a lot shorter, really depending upon the engagement of the client. So if the client is getting back to us, like running the payrolls and getting back to us quickly, we can actually shorten that down to almost 2 weeks. That's been 2 weeks has been our fastest implementation that we made. But again, we're dealing with payroll. It does take, and most of our clients that are implementing, they have their regular jobs themselves. So it might take them a little longer to test the application, to get it to the production environment. So.
Okay, great. And then right now, just one other one. Is the GHR version a SaaS license?
Yes. So the GHR is very similar to the Infor licensing, where it is a SaaS fee, very similar to BSI. And yeah, so that it would be a SaaS fee. The S3 product is an on-premise license to, unlimited number of environments. So yeah, great question.
Very good.
All right. Well, if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and send it to me via email. Also check out our YouTube channel. It has a lot of these from our consulting services to all of our software that we provide there in the marketplace. So again, thank you for joining us and have a great day.